My name is Alex Corbett. I served as an intelligence operator in the United States Air Force between 2011 and 2017. Wow, what made me want to join the military? It was a little crazy. I initially went to college on a baseball scholarship, and I finished 1 year and came home for Christmas for the summer. And I don't know. I drove by the recruiting office, and something just called. I don't know what it was, but something drew me in. I walked in and talked to the recruiter, and I said, I just want to talk about recruitment. And about 3 hours later, I'm signing on the dotted line. So it was just a weird experience for me. I didn't know what it was, but something called me to do it. I would say in the beginning, no. I had no idea probably what I was walking into. You know, recruiters do a good job at recruiting. You know, they tell you all the good stuff that you're going to enjoy. You get to travel the world. You get, a guaranteed paycheck every two weeks. You get free health care. You get to wear a uniform. But they're good at what they do. That's their job. No, I didn't feel like I was fully prepared. It's a tricky situation, especially with the job that I was doing, working with top secret documents, top secret missions. You have to be careful about what you talk about. There is nothing against going out and seeking help, especially if you have a problem with your mental health. It's just looked at different. Whenever you kind of admit you may have a mental health problem, you're looked at different by your leaders. So it's a really tricky situation on how to go about it, and it's something I didn't expect, because I've never thought I had any kind of mental problems going in. I thought I was handling myself right, but in the end, I was very closed off and really knew how to put on a face to make sure hey, yeah, I'm fine, when deep down, no, I was not fine, not at all. With mental health, especially for our military members, it's vital to the success of our military members and the missions that they carry out. Because if they're not right, mentally, then how are they going to be able to execute anything? And it shouldn't be looked at, as a black mark. If you have mental health problems, you have mental health problems. There's nothing you can do about it. The things we go through and the things we see, I don't think any normal person could handle it. I think. When I think back on my deployments and the stuff that we, excuse me.
It's all good, take your time.
And the stuff we did, it's gonna rock anybody. And I had my teammates, and I had my fellow military members next to me, but sometimes that's just not enough, because they're not with you 24 hours a day. There's times where I sat in my apartment in the dark and just replaying over and over and over again, and I just thought that was the way you should deal with it. The fact is 22 military members commit suicide every day, and it's a statistic that's it's awful to me, but it's also a really concrete reminder, especially when I think about myself. I almost was one of the 22 in May 2017. Day I'll never forget. It finally all came to fruition. I had bottled it all up, and it just all came out, and I tried to end my life. Our armed forces, they do a pretty good job at making sure we're taken care of. But they also have, you have to be fair on both sides. They have a lot to deal with. We have, men in country deployed overseas. They got to make sure those guys are taken care of. We got to make sure the missions are ran smoothly. We got to make sure facilities are correct. There's a lot on their plate, and I understand that. I'm not blaming the military for my downfall. A lot of it had to do with what I was doing, and they were my fault. I just think, in the outside world, maybe we shouldn't put on such a stigma There are many great organizations out there, and I think if we can kind of bring those organizations out and get them more public notoriety, I think more and more veterans will be touched. Everybody knows about the Wounded Warrior Project, but there's smaller organizations that do phenomenal work. Mission 22 is a phenomenal organization that literally helps fight veteran suicide, and then also, bringing veteran community together. Because that's the thing, if a veteran feels like he's alone, he's already losing the fight, and when you lose the fight, it's fatal. Nobody knows more than me on how important it is to make sure that the mental health of every military member, active, guard, reserve, veteran, how important and vital it is. We're just veterans trying to live normal lives as best as we can, because it is tough. Not a day goes, there isn't a single day where I don't think about the things that, we did, and because I'm also holding on to it. I don't want to lose that part of myself. I don't get to put on the uniform every day, but at least if I get to think about it, I still feel like a part of something, and it's what's gotten me through every day. I miss it terribly, but I understand life kind of takes you in different directions, and you just got to trust it and go along with it. That was a big thing that I learned was adapt, improvise, and overcome. And so that's kind of how I approach everything that I have in my life. And you hit road bumps, but if you can get over it, hey, the end result will be what you want.